Hello, everyone. For the My Culture Meets Culture project, I was assigned Denmark. So, we're first going to look at the Denmark culture. The main language is Danish, and they also are very strong with their religious beliefs, which you'll notice with all of their main holidays celebrated are very similar also to the United States. But, Christmas is important to them, Christmas Eve, Easter, the New Year, and other holidays that are common in the United States. For instance, Valentine's Day, um, just small ones like that. For them, Christmas is celebrated all winter long. Some of their traditions are singing around the tree, eating Carriesled. I don't know how to pronounce that word exactly, but it is herring in curry and Abel flask. It's an apple porridge with pork, and then Risalamande, which is a rice pudding, which is pictured the bottom left, which some people put in some almonds, some people don't. And it is also served with hot cherry sauce. Easter Day is when Denmark opens their oldest amusement park, Tivoli, which was made in 1843, which is pictured to the top right picture. Um, it's been important to them and their culture for many years and still maintained very well. That way, everybody can ride the rides on the amusement park and come and visit. They have a parliamentary democracy. They also have a royal family and royal family guards, which is pictured the top left picture over there. And you can see them marching and switching out guards probably daily. And also the bottom right picture is some of the priests during Christmas time. For the art in Denmark, I picked actually two artists that stood out to me. One of them was Christopher Wilhelm Eckersberg. He was born in 1783, died in 1853, so there was really no pictures of him, but he was known as the best and most known artist for the first part of the 19th century. He painted religious figures, portraits, landscapes, and marine objects, mythological, historic events and objects. So he was basically well-rounded. Um, as you could see, the religious pictures, the moms visiting the tomb, Jesus and Mary, and then the bottom right picture is a picture of Rome that he had painted. He also studied and taught at the Copenhagen Academy in Denmark. The next artist is Arne Jacobsen, which is he was born in 1902 to 1971. He was known as one of the most significant designers in Danish history. You can see his cutlery he made at the top left, his famous egg chair, also a picture of him, very modern um, types of art and things he created, very futuristic, iconic, but yet still simple, nothing too crazy, but it was definitely for that time that he was creating, it was something different. Um, he created everything and was also known for designing buildings with futuristic shapes rather than normal. Something we'd maybe see today, some still are we are not seeing today because it is so futuristic. For literature in Denmark, I did the same as art. I chose 2 um, people in literature. For the first one, it was Soren Kierkegaard. He was again lived 1813, 1855. There was not many pictures of him, but you can find a lot of his books rewrote. Um, it is known that he was a profound and prolific writer in the Danish Golden Age, wrote about topics such as religion, self experiences, criticism, personal opinions. The next person in literature was Karen Blixen. She actually was born in Denmark. She spent 17 years in Kenya, where she wrote one of her most famous books, which is Out of Africa, based on her experiences living there, which was then later made into a film. And she also has her own museum that in Kenya still, where you can go and look at her art corner, which is some of the art she made as well as some of her books. When we look at Denmark's cultural, political, and social issues connected to the past and present art and literature, I found for one, viewing the National Museum of Denmark, we see beautiful art pieces that have been preserved that are from the Vikings. For example, weapons used or their helmets. The age of the Vikings was one of the most notorious periods of time in Denmark. This time period dated back to 793 AD. For number two, I had wrote that if you notice, the Danish people are very religious, as you can see in their art and some of their writing. We see most of their holidays and literature and art revolve around it. This is because in 965 AD, Danish king Harald Bluetooth was baptized and became an influence for Christianity for all Danes. So this has gone on for multiple years. And for number 3, I had wrote that after Denmark War in 1945, it was said the light came back into Denmark. The economy started blooming and the Danish goods spread internationally. This is the time that the artist Arnie Jacobsen started to flourish, as well as a lot of other goods and things. Their whole country began to flourish. So, to all the way to the left, that is the day that the war was over in 1945. I also have some pictures of the Viking helmets. I was unable to take the pictures off of the Museum of Denmark, so this is just a picture I found. And that is Harold Bluetooth, all the way to the right. For Denmark's influence on Texas culture, they started fleeing to Texas beginning from 1860 to 1930. The main areas that the immigrants came to was northern Lee County, Williamson County, Rocky Hill near Fredericksburg, but the number one area was Danvang. You can still visit the Danish Museum in Danvang, as well as you can see where they built their first stores, banks, and houses. A lot of that is preserved. Also, the first 5 years in Texas were extremely rough until they started farming, growing cotton, and raising pigs and cattle. But after 1895, they began to flourish in Texas. So when we're looking at still Denmark's influence on Texas culture, Charles Zanko was actually arrived in Lynchburg, Texas in 1835 during the time that Texas was preparing for war in Mexico. We know it as the time of the Battle of the Alamo. He actually created the independence flag for them with a star on it and the word independence underneath. And without this flag, we would not have the Texas flag today, which we still see the single star with that dark blue that he used for the independence flag. The last three things that stood out to me was Hans Peter Niesel Grammel, um, the Danish immigrant, helped save thousands of important documents, books, and reprinted to keep the information alive. Even the Texas law he saved. So now you can go into the UT library in Austin and find these books that he has saved. All this would not be possible without him saving um, all of this for us. And the Farmer Cooperative Cooperative Society. This was actually founded by Danish immigrants after they began to flourish, and they started it for bulk purchase of supplying and selling large quantities of food. And it is still alive today and continues to grow each year. And the last one is the Borglum's Texas Cattle Trail Drivers. It's a piece of art that can be found right here in San Antonio at Brackenridge Park that the Danish immigrant Gusten Borglum statue, yeah, he created that. So it is a very important piece that we still keep alive today. Well, thank you all for listening to the information about the amazing Denmark. I hope you enjoyed it.